Welcome to our first weekly press briefing of the year 2021. I wish you all and your families a very happy new year. May this be a year of peace and progress for Pakistan, for our region, and for the world. The year 2020 presented unprecedented challenges at the national, regional, and international level. The foremost challenge faced by the world was the COVID-19 pandemic, which impacted every aspect of our lives. Due to the effective policies and timely interventions by the government, Pakistan did particularly well during the first wave of the pandemic. Our handling of COVID-19, based on the whole of government approach, smart lockdowns, and the maintenance of balance between lives and livelihood, earned Pakistan global recognition. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, together with other stakeholders, undertook the largest repatriation operation in the history of Pakistan, bringing back stranded Pakistanis from more than 70 countries around the world. Moving forward, the government of Pakistan remains engaged with multiple sources of COVID-19 vaccine for timely procurement of most effective and affordable vaccine. During 2020, high frequency of leadership level exchanges was witnessed with many important countries despite the pandemic. The President of Pakistan and the Foreign Minister were among the first foreign dignitaries to visit China as the COVID situation started to improve there. These visits played an important role in further reinforcing time-tested and deep-rooted all-weather strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries. Despite COVID-19, Pakistan-China Economic Corridor entered the new phase of high-quality development. The two sides will continue to firmly advance CPEC, ensuring timely completion of the projects under construction and focus on economic and social development. On the invitation of his Malaysian counterpart, Prime Minister Imran Khan visited Malaysia. The visit contributed to further strengthening of fraternal ties between Pakistan and Malaysia. The Prime Minister also visited Qatar to meet the Amir of the State of Qatar. The focus of the visit was on strengthening bilateral cooperation and exchanging views on regional developments. On the invitation of President Ashraf Ghani, Prime Minister Imran Khan undertook his maiden visit to Afghanistan. The shared vision document issued during the visit laid the foundation of a forward-looking comprehensive bilateral partnership between the two countries. We also had some important visits to Pakistan during 2020. At the highest level, President of Turkey, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Chairman of the Presidency of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Secretary General of the United Nations, Chairman of the High Council for National Reconciliation of Afghanistan, President-elect of the 75th session of the UN General Assembly, Speaker of the Afghanistan's Walesi Jirga, Chinese State Councillor and Minister of Defense, Foreign Minister of Iran, Commerce Minister of Afghanistan, Minister for Transport of Uzbekistan, President of the Parliament of Djibouti, and the President of Inter-Parliamentary Union visited Pakistan during this year. These visits are reflective of our active engagement with the global community. During 2020, Pakistan also pursued a robust diplomatic engagement at the regional and international fora. Prime Minister Imran Khan addressed the 75th session of the UN General Assembly. He effectively shared Pakistan's perspective on all major regional and international issues, including COVID-19 pandemic, debt relief initiative for developing countries, Jammu and Kashmir dispute, treatment of minorities in India, Palestine issue, Afghan peace process, illicit financial flows, climate change, Islamophobia, and the UN reform. Prime Minister Imran Khan also attended the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. He shared Pakistan's vision and achievements in the areas of economy, peace and stability, and trade and investment. The Prime Minister also participated in the 20th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Council of Heads of State. He reaffirmed Pakistan's abiding commitment to the principles and objectives of the SCO. Let me also share with you some of the globally recognized initiatives of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Imran Khan was among the first world leaders to draw attention to the link between unsustainable debt and COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister launched his global initiative for debt relief for the developing countries. The idea has resonated globally. A practical manifestation is the IMF emergency package, the debt relief by G20, and the relief by the IMF and the World Bank. Prime Minister Imran Khan remained the most vocal advocate of the need for combating and confronting the rising tide of Islamophobia. At the Prime Minister's initiative, it has been proposed to declare 15 March as Annual International Day to combat Islamophobia. Pakistan also remained at the forefront of global campaign against climate change. The Prime Minister was amongst the top 10 global leaders chosen to showcase climate action at the highest level Climate Ambition Summit 2020 held on the occasion of 5th anniversary of Paris Agreement on Climate Change. Consistent with the Prime Minister's vision, Pakistan spearheaded efforts to counter illicit financial flows at the international level. Despite COVID-19 pandemic, Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi remained engaged with his counterparts and interlocutors from around the world. The Foreign Minister visited Iran, Saudi Arabia, US and Qatar as part of our efforts to diffuse tensions and promote peace in the Middle East. The Foreign Minister held virtual meetings and telephone conversations with his counterparts from more than 50 countries. The Foreign Minister also met with his counterparts from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the State Minister of UAE on the sidelines of 47th session of the OIC Council of Foreign Ministers meeting in Niamey, Niger. The Foreign Minister also called on the President of Niger. During these meetings, important matters pertaining to bilateral relationship and regional cooperation came under discussion. As part of our Engage Africa initiative, the Foreign Minister co-led Pakistan delegation to the first ever Pakistan-Africa Trade Development Conference in Kenya, inaugurated by the Kenyan President. As part of our strategic engagement with the European Union, the 5th round of EU-Pakistan Strategic Dialogue was held between Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi and the Vice President of the European Commission, Josep Borrell. The two sides discussed the growing momentum of the Pakistan-EU relations and agreed to make efforts towards its comprehensive implementation in all areas of cooperation. The Foreign Minister recently undertook a successful visit to the UAE. During his meetings with the UAE leadership, they discussed the whole range of issues including trade and investment and the welfare of Pakistani diaspora in the UAE. Now let me also share with you some of the key initiatives of the Foreign Minister to meet the contemporary challenges and to further modernize and enhance efficacy of Pakistan's diplomatic apparatus. The Foreign Minister established a dedicated public diplomacy consultative group to bring focused attention to the key area of public diplomacy. He also set up digital diplomacy group to augment our outreach in the digital diplomacy domain. He also set up annual Foreign Ministers Honors List to recognize the contribution and achievements of overseas Pakistanis. In the wake of the COVID-19, a permanent crisis management unit has been established at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs under the direct supervision of the Foreign Minister. In the 2-yearly review of the Prime Minister's Pakistan Citizens Portal, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs stood out as the most responsive towards complaints registered on the Citizen Portal. Public satisfaction of this ministry's performance is a matter of immense pride for the Foreign Office family. Some of the other key diplomatic successes for Pakistan during 2020 were Pakistan's re-election to the United Nations Human Rights Council with an overwhelming majority, Pakistan's election as the President of the UN Economic and Social Council ECOSOC, Pakistan's election to the Committee for Program and Coordination of the United Nations Economic and Social Council, hosting of an international conference to mark 40 years of Afghan refugees' presence in Pakistan, unanimous adoption of Pakistan-sponsored resolution universal realization of the right of people to self-determination by the UN General Assembly, decision at the 47th session of the CFM in Niamey that Pakistan will hold the 47th session of CFM in 2021. Pakistan continued its full support to the ongoing Afghan peace process during the year 2020 also. Pakistan played an important role in facilitating the US-Taliban-Afghan peace agreement signed in February 2020, the commencement of intra-Afghan negotiations on 12 September 2020, and the agreement on rules and procedures between the Afghan parties in Doha in December this year. Pakistan is the only country that has consistently maintained that there was no military solution to the conflict in Afghanistan and that dialogue and a political settlement was the only way forward for lasting peace and stability. It is gratifying that the world has come around to this view and sees political settlement as the only way forward in the Afghan conflict. Now, since 5th August 2019, Pakistan has forcefully raised the issue of Jammu and Kashmir dispute at all levels and at all fora. We have effectively highlighted the legal, human rights, and peace and security dimensions of the dispute. Owing to Pakistan's efforts, the United Nations Security Council has discussed the Jammu and Kashmir dispute 3 times since 5th August 2019. The UN Secretary General, during his visit to Pakistan, expressed deep concern over the disputed region of Jammu and Kashmir and called for India to respect human rights and fundamental freedoms of the Kashmiri people. During his visit to Pakistan, the OIC Secretary General's Special Envoy for Jammu and Kashmir emphasized that Jammu and Kashmir and Palestine remain the top items of the OIC agenda. On Pakistan's call, 3 meetings of the OIC contact group on Jammu and Kashmir were held since 5th of August 2019. World leaders, parliamentarians, international human rights organizations, as well as the media have been unanimous in their condemnation of India's illegal and inhuman actions taken in IIOJK on 5th August 2019 and subsequently. In a major development and diplomatic success for our Kashmir diplomacy, the OIC reaffirmed its unequivocal support on the Jammu and Kashmir dispute during the 47th session of the OIC Council of Foreign Ministers meeting held in Niamey, Niger. The Niamey Declaration explicitly reiterated the OIC's principled position on the Jammu and Kashmir dispute for a peaceful settlement in accordance with the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions. The CFM resolution on Jammu and Kashmir condemn in strongest possible terms human rights violations being perpetrated by the Indian occupation forces in IIOJK. The resolution urged the international community to review their engagement with India, to expose India as a state sponsor of terrorism. We released a dossier providing irrefutable evidence of India's active planning, promoting, aiding, abetting, financing, and executing terrorist activities inside Pakistan. The publication of the recent report by EU Disinfolab about India's global disinformation campaign against Pakistan has further corroborated Pakistan's position about Indian evil designs about Pakistan. Now, as for the situation in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir during 2020, the Indian brutalization and oppression of innocent Kashmiris continued unabated throughout the year. The military siege, communications blockade, media blackout, incarceration of Kashmiri leadership, and every possible violation of human rights of the Kashmiri people continue for 515 days since India's illegal and inhuman actions of 5th August 2019. In their brazen acts of state terrorism, the Indian occupation forces martyred more than 300 innocent Kashmiris, including women and children, in fake encounters and so-called cordon and search operations. During the same period, 750 Kashmiris were critically injured, while 2,770 innocent Kashmiris were arbitrarily detained and 922 houses were destroyed as part of collective punishment inflicted on the Kashmiri communities. In pursuit of its global agenda to convert the Muslim majority of IIOJK into a minority, the Indian government has issued more than 2 million fake domicile certificates to non-Kashmiris under the so-called Jammu and Kashmir Grant of Domicile Certificates Rules 2020. Pakistan reiterates its call for UN Commission of Inquiry as recommended by the OHCHR in its 2 reports in 2018 and 19. The Commission of the UN should thoroughly investigate the Indian crimes against the Kashmiri people during the past 3 decades. I wish to also reiterate Pakistan's deep concern over the deteriorating health condition and continued incarceration of Kashmiri leadership, including founding leader of Kashmiri organization Dukhtarane Millat and the Iron Lady of Kashmir, Ms. Asia Andrabi, leader and founder of Jammu and Kashmir Democratic Freedom Party, Mr. Shabir Ahmad Shah, prominent leaders such as Mr. Yasin Malik, Masarat Alam Bhatt, Muhammad Ashraf Sehrai, Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani, and Mir Waiz Umar Farooq. Pakistan has recently written to the UN Secretary General and the UN Human Rights Commissioner highlighting the inhuman and illegal treatment of Ms. Asia Andrabi. To divert attention from its internal failings and the situation in IIOJK, India continued to escalate tensions along the line of control throughout the year. During 2020 alone, Indian occupation troops made 3,097 ceasefire violations, deliberately targeting the civilian populated areas along the line of control. In these unprovoked Indian violations, 28 innocent civilians embraced shahadat, while 257 sustained serious injuries. In the end, let me once again remind the Indian government that despite all its illegal and inhuman actions, India has failed and will continue to fail in breaking the will of the Kashmiri people. The brutalization of Indian held Kashmiris at the hands of the occupation troops will only further strengthen their resolve for freedom from Indian illegal occupation. I wish to reassure our Kashmiri brothers and sisters that they are not alone in their rightful struggle. Pakistan will continue to stand with them till the realization of their inalienable right to self-determination. With this, I thank you and am happy to take any question on these